just outside of Yakima, Washington, little town of Sela. This portion of the field we got grafted. Really battling some rain, but we'll keep pecking away at it. Skip 5 rows here of a different variety we'll do later. Got a long ways to go. About 3,500 trees out here. What we're doing is grafting these trees over to Skeena. They are Sweetheart now, and Sweetheart comes off at a bad time for the market. There's a big company up north that farms thousands of acres, and when their cherries hit the market, it creates a glut. They make their money on volume, and the smaller guys just can't compete with that. So they have to find a cherry that's earlier or later than that glut, and then we graft it on so they'll have a more profitable fruit. When I say smaller guys, that might be 200 or 300 acres, but they just can't compete. That other company starts picking. So we utilize the root system. No sense yanking out that tree. That's very, very expensive to pull all these out. Buy new trees. A new tree is $7, $8. Then the labor to put them in. Plus you rip up your irrigation when you take them out. You have to redo all that. That's expensive. And for much, much less money, we can come in and put a new variety on for them. And you know, they just don't make a machine that can do that. So take a lot of pride in what we do. It's precision work. These cuts have to be so true and straight, because if you just have a tiny air gap in there between the cambium layers, the graft dies. Very, very skilled work. Also, that cambium layer is about the width of a pencil mark sometimes, some varieties, some species. So you have to line it up. If you miss it, they don't grow. These guys are not tree trimmers, that's for sure. They are doing precision work. They are professional grafters, and I'm very proud of them. So break time?
Break time.
Well, am I doing okay for an old white guy?
Doing pretty darn well.
Pretty good. Well, I got you several rows cut down. You sure are doing good work. That is beautiful. Look how straight those cuts are. Man, I'm impressed. You must have had a good teacher.
Great teachers.
Huh?
Had great teachers.
Great teachers. Victor, excuse me, boss. I took the four-wheeler up on top of that hill over there to see how far this field goes, and it just goes forever. It doesn't end. It just goes on and on.
Like this.
No, it just goes on. It just never stops. That bueno. That muy bueno. Well, here's what they look like a year later. We were in here last year doing this grafting, and see the top of the sign right there where they put a little black paint on it, and then the buds grow off of that. We put in 4 grafts here, and you can see they grow about 6 feet here the first season. Well, that young man I was talking to earlier, that's Victor's son, Victor Jr., and he was 1 year old when his father started working for me. So I've been around his whole life pretty much, and he calls me Grandpa. All of Victor's kids calls me Grandpa, and I'm honored that they do. Now he's got little kids, and he's a wonderful dad. He talks to them on FaceTime every day, and he introduced me to them via FaceTime the other morning. Introduced me as their great-grandfather, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, He took his vacation time and from his regular job in California to come up and give us a hand, and I'm just thrilled to have him here. It's good to spend some time with him. His father and I pretty much raised him in this business. He worked with us for about 6 years after he got out of high school, and then he got married and had a little one, and of course he had to go get a steady job, and I can't provide insurance, and this is a real short term, a couple months out of the year. So anyway, it's really good that he could come and help us a little bit. So when Victor got married and had a little one, he told me later he said it was hard for him to tell me that he was going to have to quit grafting. He just didn't want to disappoint me, but of course I understood completely that he has to go take care of his kids and do what's best for his family. So I wrote him a really good letter of recommendation, and he's got a pretty good job now. But it was really nice that he would take his vacation time and come out here in this miserable cold wind and work with us. But good to have him here. This is the owner over here on the tractor. My client is mowing up some of the smaller brush. There's not a lot out here, but he just mows it up to kind of give us some footing. It's so muddy out here. If he can chop up some of those limbs and drive some of those chips into the ground, it kind of makes it a little better walking for us. So I guess it's about enough about this grafting thing right now. My son was about 4 or 5 years old. One day he told me, he said, Dad, I just really don't want to hear any more about this grafting thing. So I think I'll shut up about this grafting thing. Well, I've been touching up my saw a little bit, but the file, just hit it, just fine tune it just a little. I hopped in the truck here just to get out of the wind so I could video this. I just want to tell you about Victor's logic. I'm starting to get seasoned now where I can go out there and chainsaw for 9 hours and I'm okay with it, but about the first 3 days, boy, I was going to bed about 8 o'clock. I was done for, and we always say it takes about 3 days to get kind of broke in after being laid off for so long, and it's pretty hard work. I mean, I guess we make it look easy, but there's no part of it that's easy work. It's all back-breaking labor. But since it takes 3 days to get broke in, Victor, his logic is that he says we should just skip the first 3 days and then start. I don't know how well that would work out, but that's what he figures we should do. Okay, I've had my little break, and my saw is filled up and sharpened up, and I'm going to get back out there and knock down some more trees.